You're listening to the voice of the Frontline Protector, a production of Blue Ram Media Group, LLC, and Private Officer International. The Private Officer Beat radio show is about to begin. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the Private Officer Beat Radio. I'm your host, Rick McCann, founder and CEO of Private Officer International, and I'm really glad to be sitting here in front of the microphone with you all this morning, like I do almost every Monday morning. We do broadcast all of our shows live. Many people don't realize that still, especially those who are relatively new to the program, but we are broadcasting from the studio live from our corporate office here, and today we have a lot of different topics that we want to talk about. We obviously always have a subject that we try to teach on. Usually that's in the bottom half of the program. Sometimes we start off the show with a topic, but today we have many other topics to talk about. We're going to talk about 3 lawsuits that have come to my attention that's occurred just this past week. 2 are involving private security companies, and 1 is involving a mega employer, and we'll talk about those here today on the program. We also want to let you know that we've had some inquiries after having to reschedule our conference that was going to happen in the Gulf Coast of Alabama. This is the hurricane season, and I had some folks tell me that they were a little concerned about what the weather might be. The tropics are pretty active right on through September, October, and into early parts of November. And so we're rescheduling that. We're going to try and make it more regional and see if that makes a difference. But we've had a couple of calls and emails just this past week saying that they wanted to sign up for our conference that was happening in Alabama. But what a surprise, all of a sudden, you know, when you have something going on and you don't sell very well, and then you finally sell a lot of it, and then all of a sudden everybody wants it, you know, or you have a car for sale and it sits there for months in the driveway, and eventually you do sell it at a lower cost, and all of a sudden people start stopping by and asking, hey, what happened to that car? I was interested. But of course, they never stopped. They drove by time and time again. They were interested in the vehicle, but they just didn't stop until it was too late and the vehicle had been sold. And that's kind of the way it is when you're in business. Sometimes you have things out there for sale and people don't seem to want it until it's not there any longer. The other thing that I've learned through the years is that when you give things away for free, like we were doing, we were giving admission to the conference away. Other conferences charge hundreds and hundreds and even thousands of dollars to go, but we were giving it away absolutely free. When you're giving it away, people don't really appreciate what it is that they're going to have. And, you know, sometimes if you charge a fee, then people appreciate it much more because they're having to pay their own hard-earned money. But if it's a free deal, well, then there's no obligation and they don't really feel any responsibility to go there. And that also happens with our training that we do. That's why we always charge something that's reasonable. We're not trying to make $1 million. We're not trying to make a bundle of cash and run off someplace, but we do have to, it's a business and we do have to make money, obviously. On the program today, we're going to talk about 3 different, and I'll probably do that before we go to our first break. Maybe I won't get there or not. 3 different rewards that are currently being offered that we're involved in here at Private Officer. As stated many times almost in 20 years that we've been doing the radio show, one of the things that people don't realize that we do is that we get involved whenever security officers are injured or killed, murdered on the job. We get involved with local law enforcement. We put the news out there. We send out special alerts to an area with pictures of a known suspect. And then we also get involved in aiding and assisting families when possible. And we also get involved with Crime Stoppers. We offer cash rewards for information leading to the arrest and conviction of the suspect. And so there's 3 different large rewards right now for 3 murders, and we're going to participate in all of them to some degree. We're going to offer up money to Crime Stoppers, but we have already sent out some regional information to security companies and POI members. We are going to take a quick break. You're listening to the voice of the Frontline Protector here on the Private Officer Beat Radio. We are, of course, coming right back.
Are you looking for the finest private security officer training in the Charlotte metropolitan area? Do you need PPS qualifications in armed or unarmed training? Or maybe you're over there across the line in South Carolina and you need the SLED training. Well, we've got the right training at the right time for you. Premier Training Academy, located at 5624 Executive Center Drive, Suite 142 in metropolitan Charlotte, North Carolina. Give them a call today, 704-806-4933. They also offer firearms training, personal protection, first aid and CPR, and so much more. Call John at 704-806-4933. If you're not already receiving breaking news and our bi-weekly newsletter, Officer Down reports, and discount training news in your personal or business email, then go to our website right now at privateofficer.org. privateofficer.org.
Mondays are extremely busy for me and for our office, and that's the way it is with many businesses. Monday, is the beginning of the week, and of course sometimes you have things that are left over from the previous week, which is what happened with us, which, it does happen quite often. You don't want to leave work on Friday with stuff on the desk that you still have to do, but sometimes you can't stay 24 hours. I try to work long hours almost every day, and so does the team, but sometimes we just need a break. So we did have some things left over today to take care of, but Mondays are very busy for us for another reason, and that is, first of all, a lot of things happen in the security and law enforcement community Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The weekend has definitely always been the busier of the days of the week for our profession. And that's when assaults and shootings and killings and attacks and all sorts of things happen that we have to collect the data on. And we have a lot, more than 3,000 now, news sites that we both receive information from, updates, as well as we curate and search those websites. And so it's a very busy day, Monday and Tuesday. Then, of course, I have several radio shows. And Monday, I have 2 radio shows that I record live. One is the Private Officer Beat Radio, of course, and the other is Coastal Alabama Highway 98. This is a radio show all about the Gulf Coast, a secondary home since the 1980s, 89, and someplace I love, I know a lot about, obviously, and so I have a radio program there. And then I also have a brand new radio show coming out, and I am preparing for that as well. And this radio show is about law enforcement and security and the frontline protector, including fire and EMS. This is going to be a radio show, and it'll be videotaped live in our studio, and I'm looking forward to that as well. So Mondays and Tuesdays usually are very, very busy. And then sometimes I'm on the road doing training, and even when I am training, I always do the radio show from wherever I'm at. And then, of course, if I'm in the office during Monday and Tuesday, probably Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I am on the road training, traveling, having meetings, and so on and so forth. So it's always a busy week. All right, I said that we have 3 different homicides that we're involved in, and if you would like to donate, you can go to our website at privateofficer.org and click on Officer Down and donate through our benevolent Officer Down Fund, or you can donate directly to Crime Stoppers, or sometimes the security officer's family set up GoFundMe pages and other similar methods of collecting donations, and you can obviously do that as well. There are currently 3 homicides that we have talked about, we have posted in our news blog, we have sent out our newsletters, which many people no longer get because they just didn't feel like a subscription fee should be charged, but that's a whole different story. But we are working on 3 different homicides. One happened just a short time ago, a couple of weeks ago or less, in Dallas, Texas, where an armored truck security officer was murdered. Right now, $55,000 is being offered. $55,000 is being offered as a reward for any information leading to the arrest and conviction of a suspect. The second one that is currently out there happened in Atlanta, Georgia. The security officer tried to stop auto burglaries in a parking garage, and he was murdered. Right now, $30,000 is being offered as a reward for him. We're involved. We really need for each and every one of you, whether you're a POI member or just a listener or an occasional follower or someone who's a consumer of our products but not a member, which is unfortunately a large number of people. But if you want to get involved, we hope that you'll go to our website at privateofficer.org and click on the link at Officer Down. The third one, there's a reward of $10,000, and this is a murder of a security officer that happened about 6 years or so ago. It's always been a cold case, but they have brought it back. They have some additional information, and so $10,000 has been offered by Crime Stoppers, and this happened in Louisville, Kentucky. 3 different homicides, and of course, being in the profession, whether you are law enforcement or security or loss prevention, it's important that we all stand together. In fact, I'm going to be talking about that very subject today. We all need to stand together. Homicides and assaults of law enforcement and security continue to climb. We need to be a true brotherhood. We need to stand together. 3 murders now offering substantial rewards for any information collected that leads to the arrest of a suspect. As a large organization, an international organization with members in multiple countries, we need to do more. We really do. And I preach this every week, and unfortunately people just don't do it. You don't have $1 million? We're not asking you to donate $1 million. And by the way, we truly appreciate all of you who do step forward and make those donations to the Memorial Fund, because they're definitely needed and put to good use. We're going to take another quick break. We'll be right back here on Private Officer Beat Radio.
Body Armor USA, we've got what it takes to protect you. Whether you're looking for the top quality protective armor or protective clothing, stab-resistant vests or gloves, contact my friend Ben over at Body Armor USA. Give him a call, 516 area code 817-1666. Again, that's area code 516 817-1666. Body Armor USA, we've got what it takes to protect you. No doubt about it.
Nurse, I need you to apply pressure to the head wound until I can get to it. I'm concerned she's lost too much blood.
Oh, no.
You in the corner, who are you? You're not supposed to be here.
She's my girlfriend, Doctor.
You need to wait out in the waiting room.
Please, Doctor, I want to stay with her.
Look, she's been badly injured. So if you want to do what's best for her, you need to let us do our work.
Please, Doctor, she has to be okay. I didn't mean to do this. I love her.
Wait a second. You were the driver?
Yes, but I didn't mean to. I swear, we went to dinner. I was just buzzed. I only had a few drinks.
Just buzzed? Why didn't you tell us that? In that case, your girlfriend is fine.
Hey, sweetie. I feel great. You want to get out of here?
I can't believe this. Really, Doctor? She's really okay?
What, are you kidding? No, not really. Nurse, get me a suture kit. Stat.
Buzzed driving. Maybe we should stop acting like it's no big deal. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, the Ad Council, and this state.
You're listening to the voice of the frontline protector, the Private Officer Beat Radio, a production of Blue Ram Media Group, LLC, and Private Officer International. And speaking of productions, we are working earnestly and hard on some new productions, and we're working hard to get those out very, very soon, so don't give up hope. However, one of the drawbacks and negativities here is that, of course, just like our newsletter, where many people didn't want to pay a fair price for a product being consumed by them, these documentaries and videos and materials that we're working on are not going to be free. There's going to be an annual subscription, and people push back on it, saying, "Oh, we don't need why do you got to charge?" Well, because it costs a lot of money to produce, it costs a lot of money to be on the road, it costs a lot of money to pay people, and unfortunately, we may not do so well with these productions. We're going to put a couple of them out soon and see what the feedback and participation is, and we'll take it from there. The third week of every September is the Private Officer International Officer Memorial Week, where we recognize and honor those private security and private law enforcement officers who have been killed in the line of duty. We go out and we hold memorial services for fallen officers just like when an officer is killed in the line of duty and they have memorial services, we do the same thing. Many times they are attended by law enforcement, fire, EMS, local dignitaries, business owners, state senators. We've had governor representatives, vice governor. We've had many people come to the ceremonies. If you would like to sponsor one at your business, church, or school, please contact us, helpdesk@privateofficer.com. We will schedule that, and we will come out and hold a memorial service. And this is a good thing for the community. It's a good thing for your company, your business, and the security companies in that area all benefit from the publicity as well. Helpdesk@privateofficer.com. And speaking about the memorial, this year we did something that we haven't done. We've talked about it over the years, but we have purchased some wristbands, memorial wristbands. They are dark blue with white embossed in print officer memorial bands. $20 donation. Go to privateofficer.org and click on Officer Down. Donate $20 and we'll send you a wristband and a Private Officer International beautiful patch. Right there, you're getting about $40 worth of product. The wristband, if sold, would be about $20, and the patches sell for about $20 as well. And then you would also get free shipping, so you can't really beat that. Contact us at helpdesk@privateofficer.com. We have a lot of things planned. We always do. We always come up with things to enhance security professionals, training, radio shows, products, all sorts of things not offered by any other organization. Oh, I know there's some state organizations and there's a couple of national, and there's some who have come and gone, and they've tried to duplicate what Private Officer has done for almost 20 years, but they don't stay around because, first of all, it's very costly to run any kind of business. Second of all, it's not like you just open up and all of a sudden everyone's going to become a member or start buying your product. It's like any other business. It takes marketing. It takes time. You got to get out there, and you've got to cultivate your customers. You got to bring them in, and people don't understand that part of business. I have for years consulted with new security companies or people that really wanted to get in the security business, but I try to tell them it's not going to be that easy. Of course, they all think they can open up a business and start and make $1 million tomorrow, but they all close down. They just don't last. All right. Well, I said a moment ago that there were 3 lawsuits filed this week by the EEOC. And, of course, that is the Labor Department. And they look at egregious violations by employers and decide whether they want to get involved if there is a violation. And then if it's something they can't rectify between the employer and the EEOC, then they file a federal lawsuit. Well, Freddie Mason was a security officer for Tri-State Security for more than 3 years. He said that at first everything was good, everything was great, there was no problem. He worked a job site that he enjoyed. He was paid what they said he would get paid. But as he was working there, new management came in, new general manager, new supervisors, and somehow they suddenly began targeting him and discriminating against him, and they put him on a different post, they put him on a different shift, and he believes it was because of a racial thing, that the people who had taken over, the managers, were racist, and the EEOC has filed a federal lawsuit against Tri-State. But they're not the only security company that was sued this week. Security Engineers, a company I'm very familiar with, a regional security company in the Southeast with at least a dozen offices, has also been sued by the EEOC for discrimination against females. Like I said, normally when a complaint is made by either a current or former employee, the EEOC investigates, they take statements, they contact the employer or former employer, and they try to get the situation worked out. And if they can't, and there's enough grounds, enough evidence, then they file a federal lawsuit. The Security Engineers Company is a pretty reputable company, and I'm very surprised that the EEOC has to step up this level of enforcement against the company, and we're definitely going to follow it. Now, to be transparent, I will tell you that we have some of their management personnel as members of Private Officer International. And at one time, Tri-State also had a manager who was a member, no longer a member of POI. The next federal lawsuit that was filed this past week against a major, and I do mean a major employer, was a lawsuit against Walmart, a federal lawsuit. Now, this isn't, of course, the first one. There's been numerous lawsuits that have been filed over the years against Walmart, but this one alleges that they terminated individuals, not just one, but numerous individuals with disabilities, saying they could no longer perform the duties or the jobs of their position. And EEOC, like I said, they're always going to investigate. They're going to contact the employer. They're going to take witness statements and decide whether or not they have a legitimate claim against that employer. And evidently, they feel like in this situation they do, and they have filed a EEOC violation, discrimination, disability discrimination, and we, of course, will follow this because this is a major, major player, and it's going to be a major, major lawsuits. Over the last 5 or 6 years, we've seen numerous security-related EEOC lawsuits filed. Some of them allege discrimination. Just recently, a company settled because a pregnant security officer was dismissed. She was doing her job, and as she was getting further along, the company just said, "We don't need you." And she filed a lawsuit, and they settled undisclosed amount. We're going to take another quick break. When we come back, of course, we have news, and I want to talk about standing together. You're listening to the Private Officer Beat Radio, and, we'll be right back.
Distracted driving is dangerous, but some people just can't seem to help themselves. There's the steering wheel propper, the sneaker peeker, the fast roller, the night lighter. And it's not long until they become the fender benderer, the got a ticketer, the veering off the road, the driver who kills someone. Enough with the phones already. Just put them down.
Do you know your ABCs? How about the ABCs of water safety? A is for active adult supervision. This means someone is always actively watching when a child is in the water. B is for multiple barriers. Your pool or spa should have multiple physical barriers at all times. C is for CPR classes. Even if you're not a parent, it's important to learn CPR. Water safety is everyone's responsibility.
Mary Price was, well, she was called Dolly Parton of the Sheriff's Office in Nashville. She was a beloved Nashville jailhouse supervisor who had worked for 5 sheriffs. Her last day of her 54-year career was spent there at the Nashville Metropolitan Jail. It was also her last day on earth. After 54 years at the Davidson County Sheriff's Office, Mary Price died at the age of 89. She said she couldn't retire because she had to continue showing the incoming sheriffs the ropes around the jail. She started out as a deputy and investigator and eventually wound up at the jail side of things. She was a bright light, loved by everyone. She spent 73 years as a piano player for her church. Whether at church, at work, wherever she was a prolific sender of goodwill, good spirits. She was always sending greeting cards, celebrating friends and co-workers for, well, almost any occasion. She remembered your birthday, and it was okay if you didn't remember hers. She was always there to talk if you had a problem, just as a friend, as a co-worker. She was loved by many, and she loved many. She loved God, her church. She loved the people that she worked with. She even loved those behind the jail cell. She was a woman's woman. A funeral was held at the 14th Avenue Missionary Baptist Church. She was someone who didn't give up, didn't retire, and she worked until her very last day, giving her all. In South Carolina, I told you about a similar police officer who worked every day until his 85th birthday. He retired a few years back, but he only lived for a few short months. And then there was Buckshot Smith, a police officer for more than 6 decades. More than 60 years, the 93-year-old stayed on the beat. He worked for the Camden, Arkansas Police Department as his last stop. He said he only retired earlier this year because he was having some leg problems. He was well known in his community. Oh, he would definitely stop you if you were speeding or if you went through a red light, but that didn't mean you were going to get a ticket or go to jail. For 65 years, he worked for the Sheriff's Department and the police departments in Arkansas. Everybody knew him. Everybody trusted him. You know, he told his boss one time, if you can't pay me, that's okay. I'm going to work for free. This was, again, one of those people that you seldom come across in life. He was revered, respected, loved. Oh, not everyone loved him. He locked up plenty of people, he said, during his career. These people had a purpose, and they made a difference, as did a beloved police officer in Oklahoma. Retired Oklahoma City police officer Jack Powell, affectionately referred to as the Mayor of Britain, passed away a few weeks ago. You know, he did retire, and he did have time to relax
He was 87 years old when he passed. He had a full life, a happy family. But after he retired, he bought a bike. And for years, he would patrol the area on his bike. They called it the routine patrol. He was well known, well liked, and of course, he'll be missed. In 1965, he joined the Oklahoma City Police Department. He spent 30 years on the force as a patrol officer. He said the beat is where he could make the most difference. And I personally have known others in law enforcement who never took a promotion, never transferred into a higher paying job because they loved the patrol. They loved the beat. They loved being where they could make a difference. They said Jack, after retirement, could be seen riding around the city of Edmond, a suburb of Oklahoma City, where he lived 3 to 4 hours a day. He'd ride around 15, 20 miles, policing the condition of the city. He would visit garage sales. He would talk to people along his routine bike patrol. He was well known for picking up trash, trimming trees, and finding things people had lost. A neighbor's neighbor, said one of his neighbors. Edmondson Police Department knew him well, and they said that he had helped out on numerous occasions when he could. So many years of service to the community as an employee of the police department and as a civilian. You don't cross these people very often. You don't find these people very often who do so much and expect so little. Every time that I come across one of these stories, they're an inspiration. And I think of myself getting older, and I sometimes ask myself, how much longer do I have? Can I go on doing all that I do? Law enforcement, the fire service, EMS, and other things, plus run businesses. But then I see another story, like the Camden, Arkansas police officer, like the jail supervisor from Nashville, like Jack Powell from Oklahoma, and others that I often read. These are special people standing together with their community in mind. We've recently changed our slogan with the Armour College Police Department and with one of my security companies: service above self. Service above self. This is actually a Rotarian message. And if you're not familiar with them, they're an organization whose main goal was to help their community, volunteering unselfishly, doing things that needed to be done. I got into the business when I was 15. I became a police cadet. It was part of the Police Explorers program. And at the age of 16, I got to ride around every week in a uniform on patrol. And I saw Sergeant Joe Cass, a man of service, a man of few words, but a lot of action. And he gave his life, his whole career, in making a difference and being that change that people often talk about these days. And I know there are plenty of other folks out there, not just police officers, but security officers, firefighters, paramedics and EMTs, teachers, and many others in our world today who are making a difference, and they ask very little, if anything, in return. When I come back, I want to continue this conversation. Standing together is more important now than ever before. And we can't
Who knows what a child will grow up to be? It's one of the coolest things about kids. The unknown, the potential, the chance to do or become whatever they can imagine. But what if something happens during childhood that stops them from reaching that potential? Did you know that preventable injuries are the #1 killer of children in the United States? And around the world, 1 child dies from a preventable injury every 30 seconds. But the important thing to remember about preventable injuries is that they're preventable. We can do something to stop them. Things to make sure kids get the chance to be creative and play. The chance to take chances and explore. The chance to fall down and get back up. Help us give your kids, and every kid, the chance to grow up, reach their potential, and become whatever they can imagine. Learn how at safekids.org.
Couple of things in the news this week I want to touch on. This just into our office yesterday afternoon. A Sarasota County school police officer is under investigation and in trouble after she allegedly assaulted 2 hotel security officers while she was at a security school conference or training. According to the police report, Hannah Kalbrenner, who has previously resigned or been terminated from agencies in Florida before, is the officer under investigation. While staying at a hotel during this training, she got into an altercation with someone, and when security intervened, according to the police report, that officer assaulted the security officers. There was not any detail as to the injuries, but this is under investigation, and she could possibly face several charges for those assaults. Staying in Florida, in Homestead, Florida, this was a very close call for a very young security officer. Again, at a hotel, on patrol, surveillance captured. What happened? The security officer, female security officer, was checking out a suspicious person. According to authorities, the person went into the hotel lobby requesting a room change, but he smelled of marijuana. Security was called. Minutes later, as security was walking through the parking lot, that subject fired several rounds at the security officer and barely missed her. He was able to get away, and authorities are investigating. We have been following and telling you about a heavily armed security force in Philadelphia. They have been hired to stand watch at gas stations and some fast food restaurants that experience a high volume of criminal activity. Well, now one of them is under investigation after he shot a person or shot at a person at a Carco gas station at Broad and Clearfield. It happened this Monday. Police said a 39-year-old male approached the security officer with a large concrete rock the size of a softball. Police said an altercation, a verbal altercation, ensued, and that's when the 39-year-old allegedly threw the rock. Police are investigating. At this time, the suspect with the rock was arrested. He's been charged with trespassing, reckless endangerment, but the security officer also is under investigation. In Denver, Colorado, a security officer coming to the aid of a shooting victim was himself shot. Authorities said it happened at East 17th Avenue near City Park. Shots were fired. The security officer who was working across the street came to the aid of the person who was shot, and then he was shot and carjacked. He's listed in critical condition. His name has not been released. A beloved Newfield High School security officer in Selden, New York, passed away suddenly. According to the news release, although he had been battling cancer, he was doing quite well. Franco Gray was loved by everyone and was well known not only in the school but throughout the area. A Texas security officer is speaking out after she was working at the Lake Belton High School on a normal day when she spotted two students fighting and went to break them up. They attacked her. She was seriously injured. She said that there are 6 security officers throughout the campus, but no one close by to help her. She was injured. She has since recovered, but she wants changes at the high school. A $250,000 reward has been offered for the information leading to the arrest of the suspect who shot and killed a L.A. deputy sheriff who was just sitting in his vehicle. Deputy Ryan Klinkbrummer, 30, was found unconscious with multiple gunshots sitting in his patrol vehicle. Authorities say this was not by random. Someone had been watching him and walked up and killed him. In Baltimore, police there are saying that they're going to clamp down on teenagers. Youth violence has escalated more than 50% just this year. Over the weekend, 4 teens were shot, 2 dead in hours of violence by teenagers. A Marshall department store loss prevention agent went to make a shoplifting stop on 2 subjects who had stolen more than $1,000 worth of merchandise. They pulled a gun and threatened to kill them. Police have video surveillance and photos, and they are asking anyone with information to contact the Memphis, Tennessee Police Department. Across the country, these type of violent acts continue against security officers. There is really not going to be any lowering of crime until police are able to do their job, until they're able to get out there and make the arrest and be proactive. In Philadelphia, another restaurant, the Philadelphia Cheesesteak Shop, has hired armed security, heavily armed security carrying AR-15 platform-style rifles. A teen girl is arrested and charged with assaulting high school security and police. The 16-year-old, whose name has not been released in Pleasantville, New Jersey, was charged with assault on school official, assault on school security, and assault on police officer after a disturbance at the Egg Harbor Township High School police said. A man posing as a U.S. Marshal was arrested at the RFK Jr. campaign event. This happened in L.A. The man who was posing as a U.S. Marshal with a U.S. Marshal badge hanging from his neck and 2 pistols looked out of place when police went to investigate. They determined that he was not a law enforcement officer at all. 2 security officers in Nashville, Tennessee at the Green Hills Mall was assaulted during a robbery at the Louis Vuitton store. This is an upscale mall in Nashville. Several suspects got away with thousands of dollars worth of merchandise. They were now wanted for robbery, according to police. Cash went flying out of the armored truck in North Charlotte last Thursday. And Charlotte-Mecklenburg police said they had all they could do to stop people from stopping and stealing the money, but try as they would, more than $100,000 is still missing. This happened on Sunset Road near Reims. Police closed down the area
People were stopping in their vehicles and walking in, even jumping off the bus system. Police said that it was pandemonium after a door latch suddenly released, spilling out hundreds of thousands of dollars of cash there on the street. When you see news happening, contact us at helpdesk@privateofficer.com. We'll be right back.
From coast to coast, cops are cracking down on seatbelt violations. Buckle up day and night or expect a ticket. It doesn't matter who you are or where you live, they'll be on the lookout. Cops write tickets to save lives. Click it for ticket.
Through the years, these people who spent most of their life working at one job, one location, and one career, I'm sure had they decided to do something different, they still would have been the type of person that they were. Believe me, they had ups and downs, just like everyone. There were good days at work and days that were stressful and days that they thought, hey, I don't need to be here anymore. Maybe I need to quit and find something easier. I'm sure that things happen that really just put them in a situation where they just didn't know which way to go. But through it all, they stayed. They took a stand. They worked together with their teammates. I've mentioned on this radio program many times before that police officers don't always get along with one another. It's like any other company, any other business. There's going to be personality conflicts. There's going to be issues. But on the job, on the street, they all come together. And it's the same for neighboring police and sheriff agencies. They don't all get along. Sometimes it's a jurisdictional issue. They don't believe that the other police department needs to come to their call or to their scene or interfere. But when a call for assistance does go out, everyone flies there. They drop what they're doing. There was a recent call for a shooting of an officer, and they said that police departments, not only from nearby, but from another state, crossed the line and came to the call. They were within a reasonable distance, and everyone around, local police, county police, state police, sheriff's departments, federal police, all responded. I am amazed, I guess, at the fact that private security don't stick together. They don't assist each other. Just before COVID, a POI member and myself went to a funeral of a security officer, an armored truck security officer that was killed. There was only one employee of the company and one management representative there. No one else from the company came. No other security companies was there. No law enforcement. I don't think that we stand together, neither as a profession or as an organization. We have, through the years, tried to encourage security companies to stand together. We have promoted events like our conference this year, where people could come and stand together. We have talked about a few very simple things that can be done to show that you are standing together with your profession. I know security is very competitive,
but so is the towing service. Just recently in Virginia, a tow truck driver was killed. Tow truck companies from all around, not just the Richmond area, but throughout the state and several neighboring states came, and they all formed a huge line of tow trucks with their lights on, and they led the funeral procession, and they stood together. Some very simple ways that we as a security profession can stand together. Let's just start with supporting one another. Let's not be negative all the time. When we see a security officer injured, when we see a security officer killed in the line of duty, we need to be the first one to the door. When is the last time that you contacted a security officer who was injured in your hometown or your home state? When was the last time that you went to the funeral of a security officer? When was the last time that you went to the funeral of a fallen police officer or contacted the agency, sent them a get well card? When was the last time that you put forth any effort to assist anyone other than yourself? Some very simple rules, some very simple suggestions. First of all, as an owner of security companies, I've always put my hand forward to law enforcement and let them know what properties we were working, when we would be there. I went directly to either the precinct commander or sometimes the police chief. I recently had to do that with an account, and they were all too happy to assist, and they have responded immediately to every 911 call that we've had to make. Every time that we had someone in custody, they were there within a few minutes. When's the last time that you took it upon yourself or your company, your private security business, to contact local law enforcement? When's the last time you dropped off lunch to the local precinct? When's the last time you sent a get well card? Simple things that we can do to show that we are standing in unity with law enforcement. When's the last time that you reached out to a local security company when one of their people were injured, when they had a fatal shooting, when there's been some other critical situation? Instead of standing alone and separate and defiant in some way, we need to be the one who makes that initial contact. We need to be the one that makes the difference. Simple, simple things. Reach your hand forward. Make those contacts with area security companies when there is an incident. Make those contacts with local law enforcement. On Facebook and social media, instead of criticizing security officers who may have done something incorrectly according to your training book, training guide, training method, how about just, supporting that guy or girl? How about supporting each other? Right now, we need to stand together more than ever, whether you're in law enforcement or private security. Recently, the California Highway Patrol and dozens of loss prevention agents stood together. They worked several undercover assignments to capture organized retail criminals, and they did make many arrests. In Michigan, they also have a statewide organized retail crime unit, and they too did several operations with loss prevention, and they worked together, recovered hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of merchandise, made many arrests. These are the type of things that we can do. Loss prevention has worked with police agencies for many years, and they have worked together to stop not only theft, but fraud, robberies, internal thefts,
check fraud, credit card fraud, and many other crimes that take place in a retail environment. It's time that we put everything aside and step forward and stand together, work together, support one another, and be the difference. That's going to do it for today's episode of the Private Officer Beat Radio. Until the next time, y'all be safe, be blessed. We'll see you back here on the radio.